Alright, let's try a new painting angle today, huh? So, in the spirit of making my own life difficult, I want a really intense ultramarine sky. I think I did this one as practice. And I want the focus in the foreground, which means dark but intense ultramarine sky. And if I'm doing this right, you ought to be able to see at least some of my mixing, which is supposed to be helpful, right? So, this is just a first layer to orient everything else to the background. Sorry. So I kind of just made you watch the exact same thing 3 times. I mean, really quickly, but in 3 times in a row. And for me, they were all slightly different. Hopefully they come across as slightly different in the video, or else, well, there might not be anyone listening to this part of the video, huh? And yet I'm trying to be honest, right? Things need multiple layers. If you paint like I do, if you use paint applying it with anything short of a trowel or like a painting knife, I don't know how to do that. I've tried a few times and it takes a certain kind of pressure that I did not put the time into learning about. But part of the reason there's so many layers going on up here, smaller brush, is because if you want something to sink into the background, you need to keep all of the values, all of the lightness and darkness really close together. And that, there we go. And for that, you either need to be really good at mixing colors and dropping them, or you need to try a few times. Or maybe both, but I am definitely the sort of painter that just assumes I'm going to need to try a few times and mix things wet in wet. That is most of my jam. So, right now I'm making some of these shadows a little warmer, because if I want jack-o'-lantern and the trick-or-treaters to stand out, then they have to be far and away the brightest things. And my impulse is to make everything dramatic. I want the sky to contrast with the trees, to contrast with the house. I want all of the transitions to be exciting, and that is a really good recipe for a chaotic, unfortunate painting. So, over and over again, I try and train myself away from that. In this painting, I am trying once more to get myself away from that. It'll be fun having the, let's see, maybe some Indian yellow in the house lights. Oh, and I need to gray it down some or else it'll be the most exciting color. So this is, I have a reference photo that I'm using, but it's not, I'm changing a lot about it. But it does exist. It's from a Halloween, years ago. And it's giving me just enough of an idea to see that, I can simplify. It's a reminder to simplify, and also a good reference for general strange looming house shape. There's a light coming out of the side of the house shining on the roof of the porch here, and I'm not sure if that's too distracting to include or not. It might be. On the other hand, I'm also wondering if the light shining out of these front windows onto the roof of the porch is too distracting and doesn't make sense. But let's, just for the sake of trying it out and seeing if it's confusing, huh? There we go. Do you think it's confusing? Tell me in the comments, because yay comments. is this almost done, or do I just want it to be done? I think it's almost done, because at this point it's atmosphere, right? Which I ought to be thinking, incorporating more at every stage in the painting process, but I have trouble with that. I just do. And so, for me, a lot of the time, what works is just get everything in the right place and then worry about the vibe. Although, it helps with the reference photo for this one, like the little trick-or-treaters, super blurry. This is supposed to be one of those little solar lanterns, but I was like, you know what, that needs to be a very spooky jack-o'-lantern. So, things evolve. Do what you can with what you've got. Anyway, what needs to happen here? Alright, there's too much light in the foreground. That needs a glaze of ultramarine. These lights need to be fuzzier. I'll probably keep fuzzing with the trick-or-treaters, even though, like I said in the reference photo, they are slightly less detailed than I have them here. But with that, when you lose all your detail, then you just have to be even more careful about placement. And since I don't trust myself so much with that, for me that means trying it and being like, oh, that brush stroke is good. That brush stroke needs to be covered, which is why things get so many layers. But you know what? I like layers. And another thing, nobody's ever going to think this is AI generated, are they? Look at those glorious brush strokes. I don't know if you notice, I'm proud of this. There's kind of a brownish gray as a highlight on the dark bodied figure. I liked that when I did it. So, yeah, on to more scribbling. I think I just decided to let this background white dry and then glaze over it with Indian yellow. I used Hansa yellow up here. I think Indian will be just a smidge more distant for a warm glow. Because it's, I don't know, more of an earthy tone. I do want them to be silhouetted against the light. It makes him more ominous and probably hurt you. I wonder if I should make her, the light on them, more golden because of how yellow the pumpkin is, but I think that would kind of lose the bride effect that they've got going on, right? With the veil and everything. So I'm not going to worry about that. Although, what would you do? Would you make the bride golden because of the light source? Got a lot of blue over here. I think that'd just be too high contrast. I'm overthinking this. So lots and lots of glazing. It says that I'm not actually done with this. I'm sitting here like, I don't want to let it go. I don't feel like I'm done, which is a really, useless approach when you've got to maybe edit the video and put it out on YouTube someday, right? So I think in just a minute we're going to call this done. Just wanted to say, obviously glazing is my friend. Glazing is something that, if you're glaring at something and thinking my colors are not unified, glazing can fix that, which is awesome. But it's entirely up to you, like with anything, what tools you employ, or even how much unity you want in your pieces. I like it, especially for the moodier stuff where I really want warm and bright, and then everything else is super cool. Like when I just hit the whole top of the house with more ultramarine, because of course I did. So I'm gonna have to go out and get some more cool inspiration this year for Halloween, I think. That'll be cool. Whoop. Bad me. I should not have put that there, because that is facing upwards, and there is no bright light coming from upwards. This is what happens when I try and talk and paint, because I am not Bob Ross. But yay glazing. Let me scrumble some more white into this. And all done. Hopefully. Maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. There you go. So, hopefully you liked it that I hopefully tried to get more pictures of the palette mixed in there. Tried a different angle for a painting video. And hopefully it was a fun thing. And if you... Pippin. He's only in here because he sprayed pee everywhere. He'll be back out again in a few minutes, I promise. But if you can't trust him not to spray pee everywhere, you need to keep an eye on him. Isn't that right, Ope? Isn't that right, Pippin? He's so mad at me. Yeah, say I'm supposed to be out. He'll be out soon, I promise.